Hey guys, my name is Gary Martin from RGG EDU, and I just wanted to quickly take you through some tips and tricks for viewing our tutorials and managing the files. So once you've downloaded all the files, and I know that there are a lot of files and they are very large files, so that will take different people a different amount of time to do, but prepare for at least a few hours to download if you have a moderate download speed. So once you've downloaded all the files, they're going to appear in your downloads folder or the downloads folder in your web browser. So you need to know exactly where your downloads are going, and you can do that in the preferences of each web browser. For me, all of my downloads go directly into my downloads folder on a Mac through using Safari. They might go into a different downloads folder if you're using Firefox or Chrome. You can also get to your downloads folder in Finder through downloads, and to unpackage these you just want to double click on each one. So keep in mind that as I'm unpackaging these files, it's essentially not erasing the zip file, and you'll always have this zip file. So one thing to keep in mind, it's essentially doubling or duplicating the amount of space that you have on your computer and the size of these files. So this is a good way to back these up, is to then just highlight all of the download zip folders and then drag them to an external drive if you have another external drive. So just in case your hard drive crashes, you have all of these files backed up in another location. I'm going to move these onto an external. And now I'm just left with my actual folders. Now, we recommend using either iTunes or something like VLC Media Player. We like iTunes because it keeps your files all organized and nice and neat. So the fastest way to get them into iTunes on both a PC and a Mac is just to drag and drop. So you can highlight all of your folders for your tutorial. And keep in mind, I'm just using example folders, and drag them into iTunes and drop them in there. So as the files load into your iTunes folder, it will take a different amount of time depending on the type of computer you have, the speed of your hard drive, and so forth. So once you are finished and the files have copied into iTunes, go into Movies, and also keep in mind that you're probably going to have a different version of iTunes than me. On both a Mac and a PC, there's about 30,000 different versions of iTunes, and they all look a little bit differently. I'm on the latest version of iTunes, and this is version 12.0.26, and I'm also on 10.10.1 Yosemite. So this might look different if you have an older version of Apple's operating system. So you'll notice that they don't show up in Movies, but they're going to show up at the top here if you click on Home Movies. And they're going to show up in the chronological order that we recommend you watching them in. And a lot of people have said that they don't like having to click play on each of the files. So the easiest way, if you want to watch, let's say, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 all at once without having to reload each video, is to make a playlist. So we want to go in and we want to highlight all of 1, then go into all of 2, and make sure they're highlighted. Then I want to right click, and I'm going to go down to New Playlist from Selection, and I'll call this Chapter 1 and 2. So then I can just click on the first one, and these will all play in a playlist, and they will play in the order that we recommend you watching them in. You don't have to watch them in the order, but we've built these tutorials in a way that makes most sense, that you watch them from the very beginning of the intro to get established, and then watch the first photo shoot, and then the retouching of the first photo shoot, and we normally build in terms of complexity from there. So moving on, if you want to then get any of this content onto one of your devices, there's a few things we recommend in terms of managing space. The first thing we want to do, I have my iPad connected, and it's going to show up here as iPad. I want to click on that, and I can go through the summary and the apps, the music. Since this is a movie is what we're syncing, I'll click on movies, and then I'll select either automatically include all of the movies, and it's going to show me down here that I'm over capacity. This is only a 16 gigabyte drive. So there's a few things that we can do in that instance if you're running out of space and you want to have all the content on your device. We can go back to where the movies are at. And there's a function in iTunes that will make a version specifically for your device. So let's say that I wanted to, just for an example, I'll do one, shrink the files that I want to put onto my iPad or even my iPhone. I'm going to go down to File up here in the menu bar, and I'm going to go to Create New Version. So if you're going to put these on a phone, you're going to want to choose a phone version, and it's going to shrink them down into the exact quality that your phone or device needs to be in, because adding these files at the size they're at, this is the size for a larger computer screen or even a TV, these will look great in. So we want to make a version of the file specifically for your device. So back up here, we go to Create New Version. So going through the files, we'll see here that our original file, and I'm just hitting Command I to open up the actual contents and the metadata of this. We see that in here the original is 112, and we're going to shrink it down into 52. So it's definitely going to help if you shrink this down for a different version of your devices, and if you want to take this with you on your iPhone, it will definitely save you space. So that is definitely one thing to consider. From there, just to sync, it's just a matter of clicking on the actual files that you want synced, and then going down here to Apply. And unfortunately, this is the only way to get content like this onto your iPad that hasn't been purchased directly through iTunes. You aren't able to download all of this content directly onto your iPad. It has to go through Apple's proprietary iTunes software into the program first and then onto the iPad. So again, I'll reiterate that managing this media is a little bit of a challenge in terms of optimizing your space on your hard drive. I always feel like I'm constantly running out of space, so keep that in mind. Make sure you know where all your media is at, and make sure you know how much space it's taking up, because it can quickly, especially on a solid state drive, it can quickly take up all of your space, and you'll be out of room and needing to go buy external hard drives. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you join our Facebook group. It's private, it's ad-free, and you can solicit constructive criticism with peers and people that are part of the community. And you can chime in and ask questions to the instructors. They're there, just make sure to tag their name in it. And thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time.